Hey folks, welcome to another unboxing video on Bullpen's Gaming 10. Today we're going to be taking the shrink off the game Order of the Gilded Compass, a game designed by Jeffrey D. Allers and Bernd Eisenstein and published by Grey Fox Games. This is an interesting one for me because it's a game that I've had my eye out for a while. I played it quite a while back. I enjoyed it quite a bit. As you can see, it even has the Die-Star Seal of Excellence, so you know that it's been received quite well on that channel as well. The problem, though, is it's not a game that a lot of people have heard of, much less played. So it was a bit of an interesting dynamic, and I wanted to try this game out very recently because I want to feature this on my second Legion game series because it does seem to fit the bill for that. If you're interested in finding out what's happening with that series or what that series is about, I'll have a link for the intro video on that down below. You can check it out. But I do want to feature it there. And with my recent playthrough of this online, I'm convinced that this is a good fit for that series. But it was obviously a little difficult to track this down because it's not a new game. It came out quite a while back. And as you can see by, and hopefully you can tell, the shape of the box, it is in shrink, so it is still a brand new copy, but it's definitely not as shiny of a shrink as you might expect. So it's a game that's definitely been out and in a warehouse somewhere, as it were, for a long, long time. But I finally managed to get my hands on it, so I'm excited to crack into this and show you guys what's in this box itself. But obviously I'm giving a bit of a spoiler away when I say that I do enjoy this game quite a bit. So you know, keep that in mind as we go through this. So generally speaking, again, the artwork is all right on the box cover. The name Order of the Gilded Compass does not really mean much in the grander scheme of things. Once I do put out the tutorial for this, you'll also see that the theme very much is, while it's good, it's there. You could also have a bunch of other things that could be added onto it. So I would take the theme with a pinch of salt for this one. But you do get to see a compass, so that's all a good start. There's a pyramid in the background. There's some water underneath in here, so maybe there's a bit of adventuring slash treasure hunting going on. There is a little bit in the game thematically, but it's just sort of like what you get to see in the box cover itself. And then on the back, you get to see some very serious folks. Well, one person smiling, so that's not too bad. And you get to see what sort of like some of the components you'll get in the box. There is going to be quite a bit of dice in this game, so we'll have a look at that when we crack into it. But generally it's a dice placement game, so you know, as you can see with this one right here, it says 42 marble dice, so it's a big part of this game, as it were. The game is designed for 2 to 5 players, expected to be played in roughly 30 to 60 minutes, ages 10 and above. And of course, in case I forgot to mention it, it is published by Grey Fox Games. So yeah, that's pretty much what the box looks like. It's not too exciting, not too overwhelming, pretty much middle of the road, as it were. But the game, I assure you, is quite fun. So let's crack into it and see what we have inside. All right. So first things first, let's take the shrink off. We already had a look at the cover of the box. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but pretty traditional otherwise, as it were. We have a mission tile supplement. So this basically tells you what some of the tiles in the game will do. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. Once you start playing the game, that's when it really becomes handy because it gives you the illustration on what some of those things do. Game guide, aka the rulebook. It is not a heavy game, so even though it looks like there's quite a few pages to it, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of illustrations as we go through this. So you have the overview, components. There's going to be a lot of tiles that you're going to be putting out and playing with, and then of course a lot of dice as well. Setup. So you're going to be putting up, setting up different locations, and these are double-sided if I remember correctly, as it were. How to play. So this gives you an overview of the different buildings and how you sort of like bid, is that the right word, on the different buildings to get the bonuses from them. So you have, let's see, the archives, you have the university, library, auction house, treasure hunters guild, hidden temple, Illuminati, sunken galleon, treasure tower, and that's it. So It may feel a little overwhelming in the sense that you have so many of these that you're pulling out, but you're not using all of them in every single game. The location tiles are double-sided, so you're going to be using one side in the game, and the other side is obviously going to be face down. So it's not as daunting as this might suggest. It's actually a pretty relatively easy game to get into, as it were. And end of game scoring. So this tells you sort of like how you're going to score with the different rules and items you would have collected. And if you're playing 2 to 3 player games, there's a couple of variants you can try out as well there. So I'm never usually a fan of the neutral player, as it were, but fewer buildings might be something that you can try out, right? So that's pretty much the rule book. Next up, whole bunch of cardboard. So let's go through these in sequence and see what's happening in here. So these are, I don't know if this is because of age or just the production quality, but these are punching out quite easily. I mean, I'm just lifting these and these are coming off. Yeah, so you can see these are some of the different locations in here. So you have university. These are the tiles that will get attached on this side. And the number of tiles you'll attach in here is dependent on the player count, as it were. That's there. This, if I remember correctly, is the start player marker. Otherwise, of course, you have these tokens. You have these different locations, which you'd be bidding on one of the well, these are not the locations. You go to the location tile and you will put down dice to hopefully win some of these, as it were. So that's there. Items or artifacts you can collect. Cardboard quality generally is not bad. It's quite decent. It should hold up well with multiple playthroughs. And again, they continue to punch out well, so all very good from a quality standpoint. Looks like we have a couple of blank ones. But then you have these different spots in here. So these will tell you how many points you will get based on a set collection that you're doing over the course of the game. All of the artifacts get you 1. But if you have these two, you will score 3 and 4 respectively. And then same for these other locations here as well. And then you have these abilities kind of thing that you can get. You have these ones as well. A whole bunch of cardboard to get through in this game. This is going to be predominantly just cardboard, cardboard and tiles and locations, as it were. So again, dice, as it were, sorry. So again, punching out quite well. I'm not going to do it for all of these because I think once you've punched out a few, we have punched out, we know what they all will feel like. So it's doing all the same. I'm just going to keep an eye out for new or interesting type of tiles that might be worthwhile pointing out. So these are more tokens. More tokens. These are the artifacts that you can collect. So remember the tile that we've seen where you score points based on the artifacts that you have. These are the artifacts you want to have for those. More of these. More of these. There's a bit of a set collection aspect to this. So as you grab hold of these locations, you want to assign the corresponding colored, I don't know what these are. They have names, I forgot. There are 2 different kinds in here with those to be able to score points. So that's there. Yeah, these. This is the one you're looking for. So if you have one of these, you will score 0 points by default. But if you can attach one of these associated colored persons to it, you score the higher value, which is 1 in this case. Not a lot, but they add up over the course of the game. So more of that. Then of course we have the dice. Whole bunch of Ziploc bags, and it looks like there were more cardboard pieces that had sort of like just punched out inside the box. So I'm just going to put these back. Let's have a look at the dice first before we go into the location tiles. All right, so dice being such a big part of the game, you do want these to be good and solid. And these are standard D6s. These are not particularly big, but they feel decent enough. Again, given the fact that you needed to have so many of these in the game, quantity is a thing. They roll out quite well. And there you go. So that's my quote of dice rolling for the day. But generally speaking, I think the dice are decent. They're not, of course, extravagant or anything. There's nothing fancy going on with these, but they will work quite well for the purpose of the game itself. So that's that. And lastly, of course, we have the different location tiles. So this is the one that we were looking at in the rule book. And again, these are double-sided. So if you flip it over, there's a secondary side where the actions are different, and the gameplay becomes a bit different as well. So you have the Sunken Galleon, and then on the other side you have Illuminati. So all you conspiracy theorists out there, there's an Illuminati tile in here. All right, Hidden Temple, and then you have the Treasure Tower on the other side. You have the Treasure Hunters Guild, and you have the Auction House on the other side. And the buildings are also labeled A and B, so the setup rules tell you how many of each to have in here. And then lastly, you have the archives. So that's it. That's everything that pretty much comes in the box for Order of the Gilded Compass. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.